that emotional state.
Sorry, Andrew.
And like anything else, when anybody
to say I've just started recording. So for people who are just starting to watch this now, where the first topic of conversation is discussing how we can get people straight away. And Andy's just explaining how it's important that we catch them while the emotion is still hot. Sorry, Andy, to interrupt you.
That's right. So like I say, it's so important when we I always think of it like the countdown clock. You know, as soon as someone puts an inquiry in, it's ticking down. And if it starts to get to the bottom, then, you know, it's no good. So the issue that we've got is, well, for me, who's starting to look over some of this stuff now, is I don't know who's working or who's not. I don't know the days they are. I'm like, say, well, do I follow that up or do I not? Or do I, what's going on? So for me, the idea is that if we can get somebody, if I know that we've got the times covered and the days covered, and you can work as much or as little as what you want, but as long as we know what we've got something covered. So because I guess one of the things we need to discuss is, one, is the lead pool working? Is that a better system to do that, or are people leaving it because there's stuff that they're picking out of the lead pool? You know, because Doris wasn't so well last week. I was looking at America, and I'm seeing all these leads piling up, going back 6-7 days. But I didn't really know that what was going on. There was no way that, you know, didn't know if she was working, if she was well, if she wasn't. So we need to sort of come up with a system between us where we can really just say, okay, this is, you know, every Monday or a Sunday, these are the days I'm going to be working. I'm going to be working 6 while 9 on a Monday, Tuesday and Wednesday, and I'm going to be not working on a Thursday and Friday or whatever. So if we know that, we can then go, right, okay, if you're working them days, potentially you can go, okay, I'll pick up all the leads that come in between them times on in the UK and in America, or just in Australia, or whatever you see fit. So it's just about coming up between us with a plan where we know there's somebody going to be like on call, you know, to pick that phone up as soon as that lead comes through. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely it does, Andrew. I just want to say, how do we get notified of the leads that come in? Because currently I'm only notified of the leads that book in a discovery call with me. I get an email and I know exactly when I need to call them, but I don't get notified of the leads that get registered. So how do we then know who's registered at what time so we can react a lot more quickly? Respond.
So it's a great question. And previously I have said, okay, you do UK leads, you do US leads. And I've also sort of said, you know, cover the leads that you've got before I give you new ones, because people are getting heaps. But really, then that just stops us from ringing the leads that are coming through. So I can, you know, I can possibly think of what I can do is put all the leads into a single spreadsheet, which you would have to have open separately on your system, and just keep the window open and you can see a spreadsheet coming in. I can send an email out whenever a lead comes in to everybody, but the thing is, there'll be, you know, I'm getting 10 or 15 leads a day. And of course I want to expand that. So it means that you'd be getting, you know, 10 or maybe up to 20, 30 emails a day just from leads coming in. So I don't know whether that's too many emails to have to sort through, or whether you can put them all into a separate folder so you can mass delete them. So you could either have it as a spreadsheet or have an email sent to you for all the leads that come in.
Yeah, I think that's quite a good idea.
Yeah, go on, Paul.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, I think that's not a bad idea, because remember before, Pete, when we had the calendar and you send me an email and then I'd see what day the booking was for a calendar, and that worked really well, didn't it? Although 50% of the people who had booked calendars didn't answer the phone. So it worked in some ways and it worked in others, and it didn't.
Yeah, so we still got that system for,
have you?
Yeah, for people who book. And so if you're interested, I can have you as person that is responsible for the UK calls for that booking, if you can open your calendar up so that they can give a space. But now we're also talking about like the cold calls, when people just register interest. They don't book a call, they just put in their details with interest. I can actually email you when someone registers interest in Facebook, and even though they're not expecting it, you can actually give them a call then and there and go, hey, just 5 minutes ago you entered your information. And do it.
That's a good idea, Pete. I mean, you know me, if I get a really kind of good lead, I'll follow it up straight away. I have done. So for me, that would work actually. Because as you said, when it's fresh, you've got a better chance of closing it, definitely.
If we did that, we definitely need a calendar so that there's no doubles up, so that you work strictly to a calendar so that you know that you clock on at 9 a.m. UK time and clock off at 3 p.m. or whatever. And then Doris, you know, clocks on there, because what I want to do is you'll get everything, UK, US, even Australia. And
really?
Well, let me think. I can probably send you just the countries that you want. So we could have it, I guess we could separate it a little bit. But, you know, my thoughts that are, if you're doing the US and for some reason someone in the US clock, you know, is on at 7 o'clock in the morning, why not give them a call then from the UK if you're doing the US anyway? Anyway, I think it is a good idea, but we definitely need to be clear, because what we don't want to happen is 1 minute you call them and then 5 minutes later Doris calls them and then Topeka calls them from Australia. So we need to sort of have some clear guidance as to...
well, you split it up, Pete. You send a few to me, you send a few to Doris, and you send a few to whoever who wants to do it. Then you can't, if you know it's that one's allocated to you, you can't have two people ringing the same person then, can you?
Well, that's difficult, really. I can split them up so that all the ones that come into the UK go to one particular email address, and all the ones in Australia go to another email address. But I can't split it up randomly. And also, the point is, the other point that Andrew made is, well, what would be great is if we could cover the 24-hour clock. So we knew you were like on call from, you know, GMT 9 till 6, and then someone else goes on call from 6 till midnight in Australia, and then someone else goes on call from midnight till 9 a.m., you know, and they're in the Philippines or wherever, you know, so that we've got someone there. And then whenever a interest comes through from whichever country, they get called. I mean, maybe that won't.
Yeah. Well, can I ask you, who's working on the American campaign at the moment?
Well, Andy at the moment.
Okay.
And Doris. But Doris has been sick. And I am looking, I've been looking out for another US closer because I don't have one. Hilda was my last one and she couldn't do it anymore.
So can I ask you, Pete, I mean, you know, the market in the UK, you know, we've done pretty good in the past. You know, I've closed loads of deals in the UK, but I'll be honest, I've never closed a deal in America. So what's the feedback from the clientele, potential clientele in America?
Look, honestly, it's similar. It's
Is
similar.
it?
Yeah, similar. The ratios are pretty similar.
Okay.
In the US to the UK.
And what about the price? Because Linda was on about it. You're putting the price up. Is that true? Are you putting the price up again?
So I'm not putting the price up in Australia, but I am putting the price up in the UK and the US.
Are you?
Yeah, and that's just to create parity, because what's happened is, because the Australian dollar has, let me think, it's either fallen or risen, one of the two, fallen, I think. It means that now it's cheaper to pay in UK pounds than it is to pay in US dollars. So I'm going to raise it up so that they're equal again, so that they're the same price. So it'll go up from 490. well, up to probably 540 or 550. I can't remember. 540, I think, pounds.
Really? Because I'll be honest, money's tight in the UK at the moment. Like, really is. So at the moment, what everybody's looking for to get people shopping again in the UK, everybody's offering massive discounts. There's unbelievable. You go shopping, you get 70% off new clothes. It's brilliant at the time. If you've got a bit of money, it's a great time to go shopping. So putting up prices in the middle of all this, do you think that's a good thing to do for the UK market, considering what's going on here?
Well, at the moment, we can use the price hike to create scarcity. So for the rest of this month. And
I think the other thing to sort of think about, sorry to cut you off there, Pete, but I think the other thing to sort of think about there is most people that you're going to be getting through are going to be people who potentially not hurt. All the new leads coming through won't know that the price has just gone up. That'll just always be in the price. So, you know, any new lead, it's only the people that you're going to be working, and hopefully you should better let them know this is coming and create a bit of urgency coming up to this new thing. I mean, this new month, 1st of July, is it? Is it 1st of July, Pete?
yeah, 1st of July. I've just found that the price isn't sensitive. Like once we're up to this price, then hi Linda.
Hi. Sorry. Hello, everyone.
Hi.
So just letting you know, Linda, the UK price is going up by about £50. So we'll use that as scarcity. But I found if people are willing to pay 400, they're usually willing to pay 500, then they're usually willing to pay 550. We may have some, well, we do have some discounts, like, you know, first month half price. We might put some more discounts, you know, in future. But at the moment, I'm just doing a price rise to try to create a little bit more demand for this month. Yeah, and we'll see. But I mean, eventually the price is going to be $9.70. That's the price we will. This is US dollars, so that's. Yeah, we'll go up to around about £750 is the final price, and we'll be gradually increasing up to that point as we.
£750.
Yeah, well, it's still cheap.
It's a massive increase, Peter. Why are you doing that? I'll tell you now. That's too much. That's a like 300% increase. That's crazy.
Well,
everybody in the UK's moment, I'll tell you truthfully, everybody in the UK is dropping prices for everything. Holidays, flights, clothing. There's so many discounts at the moment. It's unbelievable. If you've got a bit of money, it's a great time. And you want to increase, boy, that's a different strategy.
Well,
I presume that means commission rates will be going up a lot then, yeah?
That's right. It's 20% always. So your commission rates will be going up as well.
Oh, that's a lot. Why? Well, 750 quid. That's a lot.
Yeah. Well,
that's almost double the price, because you used to do. Remember, we used to do for $3.90.
Exactly. Well, I originally, before you came on board, I did it for $3.90 Australian dollars, and the conversion rate hasn't changed the whole time.
Really?
$3.90 to $4.90 to $6.70 to $9.70. The conversion rate hasn't changed. If the people want to do it, they'll pay. And if they don't want to do it, they'll grumble and they'll moan and they'll say, I haven't got the money and can I just please? And in the end, yeah, we're getting very similar rates. So we'll keep monitoring it. We'll keep monitoring the conversion as we go up. But it does mean that there's higher rates in it for you. And, you know, there's obviously more cash.
But I thought one of the reasons you wanted to spread it in the UK was to make it more inclusive, not exclusive. Do you know what I mean? Now, that kind of price is making it a little bit more, I don't know. I don't know. I mean, if that's the price you're going to sell it at, you're the boss. So obviously you set down the strategy, don't you?
Yeah. Well,
but I think I've been working on this for a long time, Pete, and I know when you do it on a monthly, a lot, don't you? Majority of people do monthly subscriptions, don't they?
Yep.
So what would the monthly subscription be on that then? When it goes up, how much would that be?
1/10. Actually, it's possible. This is just between us. I am possibly thinking of keeping the monthly subscriptions the same, because there is there's quite a gap from $9.70. If you pay monthly subscription, you pay almost a third. Well, you do. It's a third or 50% more. So I'll chat about this. This is, I'll have to chat about this with Andy and have a think about it. But I may keep the subscription price the same, so that the difference between the paid upfront price versus the subscription price is a little bit similar. But those subscriptions are such a headache. Like, they are just quite frankly, they're a pain in the ass. Basically, everyone stops paying.
Really?
Poor old Sarah just spends hours a day chasing people for payments. So anything to convince people to pay in either one payment or 3 payments is a good thing.
Yeah, true.
Peter,
yep.
Can I ask something? I know I mentioned this to Sarah before. Is it worth us looking at getting people to kind of sign something, some kind of agreement, so that, because at the moment there is nothing really to stop them just dropping out, is there?
Yeah, true.
Well, that's true, but it's the same case. Even if they sign it, they just say, "Oh, look, I haven't got the money," and then what are you going to do? You can't do anything. So I do have terms and conditions which they agree to, and it's all spelled out in the terms and conditions. Okay. Again, I don't want to I don't really want to get into this argument. We'll be talking about that. Another option, if I can, is there's these companies now that actually, they're called Afterpay and Zip Pay, which actually take on that risk. So you actually sell them the debt, you sell them the membership, and they look after chasing the people, and then they give you the money up front, and they'll take a hefty commission, but it sure as hell saves a lot of work. So
you've got to balance it, haven't you?
That's right.
Peter, can I ask, so with the changes, can we have something which is kind of setting out what the prices are? And you mentioned about the discount, the first month half price. Can you kind of put something together for us so we can see exactly what that offer is, so there's no no misunderstandings, or we're very clear on what that offer is when we're telling people? I personally would find that really, really useful.
Yep. Okay. I'll double check that. I mean, I have probably got something like that from the past, but I'll update it and make sure it's accurate.
That'd be really good. Thank you.
Well, I'm just adding it on my task list here. So.
And so the increase is from the 1st of July.
Correct.
And so it's just to make sure. I think previously you said in an email 540.
Yeah,
so
540.
Then you mentioned 550. So.
Oh, let's say 540. 540.
540. Okay, great. Thank you.
And then USD, what would that be?
770.
Okay.
All right, and the other thing, Linda, which we just talked about just quickly, is starting to get a little bit more clarity on the hours that you're working in, and a bit more accountability. So whether you could give us some hours that you're definitely working, so that we know somebody's online at that time.
That's really hard for me.
Yeah, right.
Because normally I work with 17 different schools, so they have meetings scattered. But because we have so many staff on my team furloughed, I'm currently doing 30 schools I'm working with. Even when I go back to my normal 17, my hours of work are not fixed at all. So I can't give a definitive I'm available at these times on these days, because my day job just doesn't work that way. So that's really hard for me to do.
Well, we'll Paul hopefully might be a little bit more be able to do that availability. And what we also talked about is when a lead comes into the lead pool, we want them to be called as soon as possible. Like 10 minutes would be great, but like within the first hour.
Oh, right. I thought we were sending a text first. We discussed this last time. Or are we now going straight to call?
Yeah, well, I'll hand this over to Andy. You want to?
Yeah. So look, you'll see hopefully we'll go into this in a moment, but whether you send a text or whether you call, I personally think the call would be best. If you want to send a text first, the text has got to be, it's got to be a text where it's hopefully it's written to get a response. So rather than sort of say something like, "Oh, just have a look at this," and I'm just introducing myself, I'll ring in a couple of days. Well, I'll just go, yeah, okay, nothing, right? Yeah. Whereas maybe what we need to do there is add a question on the end of that to try and get a response. So what I'd say in something like that, if I was sending a text message, I'd say, okay, so thanks for inquiring with regards to becoming a meditation leader. Here's some links if you want to have a look at this. I'm going to give you a call either straight away or is Tuesday morning better for you? Okay. Something like that. So what we're doing is we're giving them an either or option. It's like, Linda, if I says to you, Linda, I want to take you out for a drink. Are you available Thursday night? You might go, oh, what am I doing? Hang on, what do I need to do? However, if I said, Linda, I'm going to take you out for a drink, is Thursday good or is Friday better for you? The chances are you'd give me an answer to that. Yeah. Because I've given you an option. And when we provide you with an option, we tend to respond better. No, so that's what we need to sort. That text message needs to, I would prefer the text message to say something, are you available straight away, or would this afternoon be better for you? Or would tomorrow morning be better for you? So one, we build urgency, and two, we then
okay. Yeah. No, I'm happy to do
get
that.
A response from them. Yeah.
No, what I've been doing, I sort of, as soon as I've assigned a lead, the text goes to them. Now, I've had problems getting in touch with people over the weekend, but I kind of get the reason why. It was Father's Day here. So maybe people weren't picking up, I don't know. But it's been
everybody loves a piss up in the UK. Any reason for a piss up?
Any excuse.
Yeah, but I think they're also saying if it's a reasonable hour, try to catch them, because if you can catch them on the phone straight away.
Okay, we'll do that.
They're hunting, they're interested in meditation, they saw the ad, they're open, they're hopefully free if they're browsing social media, so they might be in the market.
I agree with Andrew. I much prefer a call. A fresh call is much better than a text. Text is up and down, but if you actually get them, then you got a chance, definitely. So I'm more for a call, mate, than texting.
Can I? Because I'm not a salesperson by any stretch of the imagination. But can I ask, when I've directly spoken to people, a lot of them say, well, I want to look at the website. Whereas if I've texted them the link, I can say, have a look at the website, and then I'll speak to you. So which works best, do you think?
Yeah, true. That works as well. It's true. If they've looked at the website, then they're a bit more serious. It's true that, actually.
But on the other hand, I'd say if you've spoken to them and they go, well, I really need to look at the website. Okay, completely understand what you're saying there. So what I'll do is I'll give you a call back either Thursday or Friday, which one suits you best.
That's what I do. So I'm on the right track then.
Yeah. So you just the aim of that call then, we've got to look at where the next goal is. Now, when you're looking at a goal of a phone call or a goal of any client's path, we don't just look at the end goal in signing them up. It's what's my next goal? My next goal is to get them to this. My next goal is to get them to this. So it's about getting these little goals that will get you there. you know, and it's okay. You might go, well, I'm not going to sign this person up today. So what's the next best thing? I need to reappoint them to when they can.
Yeah.
So that would be, you know, and that's why I say if you want to,
yeah, that's kind of my method, if you like. I've always got, you know, within the next 2 days, this is the next step and this is the next step.
Sure.
I mean, there's a lady you've commented, Andrew, on a lady called Hayley, who keeps saying, oh, I'll sign in a couple of days. I'll sign in a couple of days. I cannot get hold of this woman and she's not got back to me. And so, you know, we're at the point now where I text her and, you know, oh, a couple of days, or you get nothing. You know, she seemed very interested. She was adamant she was going to sign up, but, you know, it's just
blagging you. She's blagging you, Linda.
Absolutely.
There's two things to do here, Linda. One is you either say something on the lines of, okay, Linda, you know, we've been talking for a while now, and I'm, you know, it's about it. Politely, you want to say, it's about time we made a decision. You know, if you don't want to, let me know. You need to give her a get out of jail card.
Yeah.
Because she likes you. You've obviously built some good rapport with her and she doesn't want to let you down. So you've done your job. It's about, okay, what do I need to do? And even say to her, what needs to happen?
Yeah.
For us to move forward.
I also am a bit cheeky and I say, I'm guessing that you're not interested in meditation anymore. So I link it to meditation. And they're like, no, I love meditation. Well, in that case, it's time to make a decision.
Yeah. Hopefully, I've got a lady signing up this afternoon. So cross everything.
Cross fingers.
Another lady.
I guess the other thing I would do there, Linda, is let me know and say, give this lady a manager's call. And what I can do there is I can jump in at that point. If you've got to a point where you're not going to make a decision, I'll jump in, but I'll jump in as a manager. Yeah. So what that means is it'd be a customer care call. So I'll be phoning up and saying, I just want to say, you know, you've been looked after by Linda. Now Linda's been with us a while, so we're just making sure she's doing the right things. Did she look after you on the call? I'll be in effect putting you under the bus a little bit.
Hope she doesn't say no.
But what I'm hoping to do, Linda, is I'm hoping to get her to say to me, oh no, Linda were great. Yeah, I really like Linda. Fantastic. That's what I want to hear. Or she'll give the get out of jail card. Oh, well, I'm not really sure. You know, Linda she was a bit abrupt with me, but that doesn't matter because then I can turn around from that and say, okay, so obviously I want to make sure that I want to keep you happy. What needs to happen for you to move forward?
Yeah.
And often that high level.
Yeah. I think it might need that because, as I put in the comments, I feel like, you know, we've had a few conversations. She keeps saying, oh, yeah, I'll sign up within the next few days. But then it feels like maybe this is, you know, me not being a salesperson, that it then kind of feels like I'm being pushy. If I'm constantly bombarding her, then, and I think that might just drive this particular individual away.
Yeah.
It's that balance, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. And you're always going to find that. However, you know, as far as I'm concerned, if she's made an inquiry, she's made a decision that she wants somebody to contact her. She can at any point say to you, "Don't contact me anymore."
Absolutely,
you know?
yeah.
So you know, you're within every right to be able to give her a call, drop a message, because you're doing it from a place of wanting to help her move forward.
Yeah.
You know, you're not saying, "Come on, buy now." What you're actually saying is, let's find a way how we can move you forward and get to do the thing that you really want to do. I'm here to help.
Yeah.
So one of the things that we want to do, and what Andy's pushing me to do, and we really want to do this, is to start operating more as a team. And I really love these conversations, and we're going to keep these going. We thought we've started off bi-weekly, and we're going to do that. But in addition to that, you know, Andy has put his hand up to say, you know, he's willing to help wherever he can. And he suggested, and I think this is a great idea, to catch up one-on-one with each of you to see where each of you might be able to use his assistance in such things as this kind of manager's call where you might have a client who's close, but they just need sort of some other angle and potentially some other person, like a so-called manager, to sort of ring in. So are you guys, also for Doris and Paul, are you happy maybe?
No, I don't operate like that. If I'm going to close a deal, I'll close a deal. I'm going to give it to somebody else to get the commission on it.
No, you still get the full commission. It's just, and he's just kind of, we're just trying to help you guys close deals, and we want you to have the full commission. So it's more like, because I guess what happened was last week, I was like, oh, well, there's a few people missing. Where are they? We need to sort of stay closer in contact with them. Maybe we should be having these team meetings once every week, which we can do, by the way. It would be good. Or the other option is maybe just reaching out maybe on one-on-one calls, which might help. But Andy's sort of just filling in. He's not really a salesperson in effect. He's just helping me get the message correct, and he's helping me put things together. And so he's sort of not getting any commission. Basically, he's not getting any commissions. He's just here to help the team and the company get more sales.
I guess
that's very generous of you, Andrew.
I'll be
passing them all over your ceiling, Andrew.
Yeah.
I'll build up the relationship and then you can close them. Yeah, no problem, mate. I'll get commission. That sounds quite a good deal, that. Well, what do you get out of it?
The thing is, right, I've been tasked with one of we'll talk about this in a little while, but when we talk about KPIs, I know quite simply what my KPIs is, and that's that we need to close as a unit, from marketing to salespeople, we need to close one deal a day. And I don't care where that comes from. I don't care if Paul, you do 10 of them one day, and Linda, you do 10 another day, and Doris does 10 another day. Great, that's our month done. However, we've got to find a way to do that, come hell or high water. So that's my task, and that's what I've been tasked with. Now, if I can help you close that helps me be more successful in my role as well. So I'm not interested in taking any of the commissions. I'm here to help and make us close some deals. And that's where when I look at it, and I've had an overlook at this, I want to see some more accountability throughout that. That's why I've been asking the questions. I want to know what the journey is of that client. Okay, so what's your next plan? Because whenever you hear no, that means not yet. So we've got to find what that not yet is. We find out what's not been explained properly, or what's their objection that we haven't managed to get out yet to make them say the yes. So that really is where I'm coming from, and where I see at the moment, as far as I the reason why we talk one-on-one is I want to speak to you. I want to go through your leads with you and say, okay, how can I help with this one? Have you tried this angle with this one? Now, I know I put comments in, and you've probably seen me putting more and more comments over the last couple of weeks, and that will continue. But I want to just challenge you to your thinking at this stage. Challenge your thinking, okay? Because often we hear a no and we go, oh, okay, yes. And we believe the story we've been told. And it's not necessarily the right story. We're just getting told it because they don't want to upset us, they like us, or they just want to get rid of us. So for me, it's about, this line's been closed, this road's been closed. What angle can I take next to do that? So I want to support you guys into getting where you want to be. I want to support you guys into, if there's 5 people, that means you all need to close at least 5 deals a month. If somebody does 10, great. But that's the magic figure for us so far, 1 deal a day per month. And we're starting to spend the money now at the front end. Just like one of the things we're saying is if we're spending the money at the front end, when it gets to this back end, if we're not doing nothing with it, or we're losing, or we're not contacting quick enough, then 10 leads you get 1 sale from us costs potentially $100 just to get that 1 sale just in ad spend. So it then becomes an expensive process. So we've got to really maximize everything. And that's what I'm going to be doing. Although I've been looking at the messaging, I'm really going to be concentrating on the sales at the back end now, because I think that that's where we can hone the whole process and really make sure that we close more deals.
So basically, to summarize, we want you closing, you know, at least 2 or 3 a week, you know, 10 a month, so that we've got 30 coming in a month. Because let's face it, you guys need to be closing that for it to be interesting for you. Like, there's no point in you closing 2 or 3 a month. You know, we want to. So we just want to work as a team to get to that point. Then we can decide when we're at that point and you guys are, it's working for everybody, then we can start talking perhaps a little bit more about, well, you know, how much Andy helps or doesn't help. But at this point in time, you let us know what you need to get to like 10 sales a month, and we will bend over backwards to make sure that happens for you. So that you're closing those leads, and then you'll get the commissions. Yeah, so we've got a business that's thriving. Because, I mean, it can thrive. We just need to do it a little bit better, and we all need to be focused, and we need to be working as a team. And I think we do need to be a little bit like, well, I've initiated this call, but they're in the Australia or whatever, and so hand it to someone who can follow up if you're willing to do that. But if you want to take the lead, that's absolutely right. But if you're going to take the lead, we're going to bend over backwards to help you, but we're also going to be challenging you to say, well, you've got to follow through. Because if you take an initial call and then you don't call them for a month, that doesn't work for us either. So, you know, we have to be trying to challenge each other to work optimally, because it's all in our own best interests to do that.
That's a great idea, Peter. I just want to add something. I think Andrew calling our leads would really help. Like, if it's, you know, if they say no, if they were really interested in the beginning and it's saying no after some time, I think Andrew calling from a higher authoritative place would really help to kind of push them.
Yeah.
A second option would also be that I think if you're going to work together as a team, it would be nice to have maybe a place that we can like chat on a daily basis, maybe like a Slack channel that we can all like jump on. And, you know, so I can like probably message Andrew if I have any questions, or ask Linda how she's handling a particular situation, just to be able to communicate with each other on a more frequent basis, right? Because right now, I think we individually speak to you and Andrew, but I don't think I get to like speak to Paul or Linda or Andrew, right? So maybe having a Slack channel, and maybe also every day, if you could probably put on a note saying, guys, we've had 10 leads come in today in the last 3 hours. 3 have been attended to, 7 haven't been attended to. Like a date every day, like a quick stand up, just to text.
Right.
That would also probably help, you know. And I could say today I did this. I made 5 calls. I spoke to people, something like that.
Great suggestion. So what we talked about is both of those things. I have initiated a what's called a conversation in Asana. You can create conversations, and you can use Asana just like a Slack channel. You can create it between 1, 2, 3 of you. I've created it for the whole team. So did you see that so-called conversation come through on Asana, which gave you what we're talking about tonight?
I noticed that came through. I got an email notification, and I noticed down the bottom that the only people who were contributors on it are you and Andy. So I was meaning to check in with like the other stars and everyone to see if they actually saw that. Doris, did you?
No, I haven't seen
that. Because then I made myself a contributor on that. And then I got your latest message. I think you sent one out today as well. Andy, I think.
Yeah.
And I was wondering, I can't find it now.
And also maybe, Peter, like Slack might be a lot more easy because we can have that on our mobiles in case we're not working, even as and when I get back to work,
Sorry, Doris, you cut out there. I think you said most people have Slack or Slap. I'm not sure what you saw, but there's a lot that don't. I don't have Slack. There's another one that they use a lot as well. Forgotten now what it is, but
well, the conversation, if we use a conversation in a Asana, that in itself should work and should get us a little bit working as a team and seeing what each other's doing. And I want you to put your wins in there as well. Great, I've just signed somebody up, because that helps us all. You know, there's nothing cheers my day up than seeing a couple of people close some deals. You know, and if I now put them in there, if I manage to close somebody for you, I'll do this exact same thing. I'll put in there, bang.
So Andrew, maybe I can ask you, what do you think's happened over the last couple of weeks? And no deals have closed at all.
Well, I think that because there's been a couple of there's a couple of things going on here. One was when we set up some of the ad campaigns, we lost some leads because it wasn't set up to the correct opt-in page. Okay. Two was we had pretty much a week in when Doris was not well in America, where we've had absolutely no person contacted from the American side leads. Right. That's contributed to it. I actually went I got up super early on Sunday morning around 5 o'clock and started calling American leads just to see if I could get anywhere. And so that's what I was doing on Sunday morning. So you see, but the problem is, because we don't know the consistency of what people are working, you know, it's not just a turn on the tap and turn off the tap with the leads. You know, like we turned America off because nobody was attending to them. So we're just throwing money away for leads not being attended. So we've got to know we've got this consistency coming through of people who are going to be working and when they're going to be working. So we can go, okay, now we can turn the tap back on. And that's going to take another week before we start seeing the results come through from that. Right. But one of the other things that I really want to sort of discuss, and I don't know if this is on, I think this is on your list as well, Pete, is when we talk about some of the KPIs as well, because I don't know the distance between what an average person between first contact and sign up. Now, I know it's all different. I know some of them are 2 years, and I know some of them will be 2 weeks. But unless we can start to monitor some of these figures, then I can't say, you know, I don't know when I'm looking at the moment. Is it a month? Is it an average of a month between somebody first signing up, first inquiring and signing up? If it is, then I'm looking at what's happened a month ago in the ad spend to look what we're doing now. If it's 2 months, then I'm looking 2 months back. So in essence, I don't know what's working yet on average between what that distance is. So I don't know how far back I've got to look before that's going to happen. So that's one of the things that I want to sort of start thinking about is, one, for you to be accountable for your own figures. I've done this many leads. I've called this many leads this week. These are how many conversations I've had. These are how many closes I've had. That will start to give me the data that I need to start to go, right, okay, now you're on a 10%, 12%, 15%. What can we do now to get you to the 20%? And also we can then from the other end, from the marketing end, I can start to go, right, okay, now we've got a consistency coming through. I can keep the tap on. We can ramp up the ad spend if we know we're getting the value for money at the closing end. I don't know if that answered your question. Yeah.
How do you want that reported to you?
Well, what I might do is look. I've sort of had a discussion with Peter about this, and I'm not a great person on was it Excel? But you know, maybe just a small spreadsheet with, and I can tell you the exact. I did create one, but it's pretty poor. It's, you know, looking, but I'm a visual person, so I like to see graphs and funnels and, you know, things like that. But all I basically want at the moment, because there's one of the things I live by is that you cannot improve what you don't measure. So I can't start to, unless I've got 3 months really good data, I can't start to go, right, okay, now I know where to tweak. So if it's simple things like, these are the leads that I've taken on board. These are the conversations that I've had. These are the ones that I've not been able to contact and lost. And these are the ones that I've closed. So, really simple. Now, of course, you will get hangover, but that'll happen every time anyway. So you'll have some people from last month that'll buy this month. that's okay. That'll just even itself out in the call. But does that make sense? Just really simple stats that we can start to improve the whole business. And once we do that, you know, it's gonna help everybody. You guys will earn more money. As we'll be able to up the ad spend because we know where it's going, and we're getting the value of that lead coming through. Because one of the things that I've seen happen in other places is that for people like yourselves, they actually buy the leads. So they'll go, okay, I'll spend $100 and buy so many leads, call them. And what that does is it makes them accountable for doing that. Now, Pete's dead against doing that at this stage. But what it does make you know that if you've spent money on it, you're going to be doing it. Right?
I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to pay for leads. No chance. Because we're working on commission. We're working on commission only anyway, aren't we? We're working on commission only. So you have to pay your phone bill. You have to pay your electricity bill. So think of it from a business point of view. Like, it's only because I've got another business I'm doing, I can do 2 phone calls at the same time. But to me, if you start asking me to pay for leads, I wouldn't do it anymore, to be honest.
But that's why I'm saying in some places that's what they're doing.
I wouldn't work for them.
What I'm trying to say,
I wouldn't do that.
Yeah, but if you were getting more money, you would, wouldn't you, Paul?
No, I wouldn't pay for leads. Money, nah, I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't do that.
If in the end...
Because I'm taking all the risk. When you work in commission only, it's a risk anyway. But if you have to pay for leads and the commission, I wouldn't do that.
Well,
no,
that's just me personally.
Yeah. Well, that's why I don't want to do that, at this stage. But at the same time, I do definitely want some accountability on the leads, in the sense that what I don't want is someone to make one call and then just leave the leads. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, me and you've always kept in touch, haven't we, Pete? Yeah. So, I've always been accountable. I've always thought I was accountable, because when you look on
I'm not talking about you, Paul. I'm just talking in general.
Okay.
You've got 10 salespeople and one person just makes one call, and then the other people sort of mop up after them and do all the hard work. I mean, the thing is, when the lead comes in, we want to be passionate about that lead. Anyway, the point is, Paul, we've got to work together as a team to find a system that works for us and works for you. Now, if that system in the end doesn't work for you, then you're free to leave and we'll find another.
Well, yeah, obviously, yeah, I totally agree with you.
Problem. But at this stage, we've got to try to work together as a team to find something that does work, so that you're getting closers, so the Skillful Mind's getting customers, and everyone is happy. That's the goal here for all of us, and I think we can all agree that.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Peter and Andrew, can I just check? So you want that information on, was it weekly or monthly basis?
Well, I think, and again, this hasn't been fully discussed with Pia, but what I'd like to see is certainly initially as having a catch up, maybe once a week, for even if it's just 10-15 minutes, just to say, okay, this is what the plan is this week. This is what I'm planning on working this week. Okay, great. Just so we know what's going on, and this is my plan. I've got 10 people on the go. I've got these people that are close, and I can just if I can help you 1%, then that will help. And if you need me then to say, I might turn and go, okay, I'll take over that lead and I'll try my best to close them for you.
Just in
and do it that way. So then I know, and I'm on the pulse. Then I know exactly what's going on, and I know exactly what's going on with everybody, and then I can help you get to your goals with that.
That's fine. Look, Pete, I've got to go now. So, guys, listen, it's been great listening to the conversation and where we're going. And I aim to try and close some deals over the next few weeks anyway, because obviously there's no point doing it if you're not making any money. But yeah.
All right. Well, I'll leave you with it. We will post you the recording of this, so feel free to download the recording and you can have a look.
Yeah, sure.
What we talk about later.
And can you send us that details for that free American course? That'd be brilliant, that. Just send it to my email address. Yeah, thanks, Doris. You got my email address?
I will take it from Peter and I will email.
Oh, fantastic. Thanks very much for that, Doris. Appreciate it. All right, guys. I'm going to have to go, okay? Thanks.
Thanks, Paul.
Okay,
Yeah, bye. Thanks, Andrew. Bye.
Bye.
yeah.
In terms of the data, what I'd suggest and like to see is we'll start a Google Sheet, which is accessible for everybody. And then you basically update daily. Today I did 20 calls and, well, got so many closes, I guess. They're the basic two information, but maybe you could break it down into 20 calls, 3 of them connected, 2 of them were warm, and 1 sale, something like that. And then just at the end of the day, just date it. And, you know, if you wanted to out, that doesn't matter. Just have a guess at how many, I mean, if you look on Asana, you should be able to sort of see the number of calls that you ticked off, hopefully, and how much were warm. So would that be too much just to fill out each day how many calls, how many were answered, and whether you had any closes? We'll know the closes, but just those 2.
Can certainly give it a go. That's, you know, from my point of view, try it and see how it goes. I'm happy to do that.
Yeah.
Doris, you're fine with that?
Yes, absolutely. I agree with Linda. Peter, I just might have another suggestion. So, I mean, from this conversation, I get that you want a bit more commitment, as a little bit more communication from our end as to what timings you're working and to commit to those timings, right? Because right now it's very ad hoc. You know, people, you know, work as and when they're available, and then there's no, I mean, you're not aware when I'm working, and so there's a lot of confusion. Maybe, you know, re-looking, it's just a suggestion, a thought, maybe re-looking at the commission structure. Whereas if, you know, we're not committed to the timings, because it's a commission basis sale, right? You make a sale, you get a commission. Maybe if you look at the commission structure and say you get 10% for the hours you put in and 10% for the sale that you make, right? That also gets you committed to the hours. So you make the calls and all the leads are attended to, but you also do get the money when you do make the sale. Right? I don't know. I mean, Andrew might have some better thoughts on this, but it's just a suggestion.
I'm open to anything, but I want to keep it as simple as possible, because otherwise it's getting confusion. Andrew, do you have any comments?
I think as far as the leads go, like I say, well, it's just knowing when you're available for me. It's not like you know, if we could fill every area, that would be great. But for me, looking at it, I don't know whether I should get involved or not. It's been left 2 days. Shall I call them? And, you know, is somebody ill, or have they gone on holiday? I just don't know at the moment. So at the moment, to keep it simple, it's just like, oh, look, I'm planning to work 6 hours this week, just on Monday. That's great. As long as we know that, then we can accommodate when things come through. Ideally, we'd like to be able to go, yeah, we've got 24 hours, 7 days covered as a, you know, as an on-call sort of scenario. But to keep it simple, just at the moment, I would say, I just want to know what you're working.
Yeah.
So we know whether we should be. I should be intervening, like Doris. We also, like I said, you know, with you being ill, the American ones were just piling up, and I'm going, should I call them? Shouldn't I call them? You know, what do I do? Just because I didn't know. So I had to just, you know, because the last thing I want to do, if I've taken a lead from start to finish, guess what? And I've taken them from the lead pool, then if I won't be getting the commission for it, but neither will nobody else. You know, I want to help you guys get that commission. You know, but if I've just got to go, guys, these are piling up. You know, I took 2 actions. One, closed off the leads coming through to America, because there was no point spending the money. Some of them hadn't been in touch for 7 days, so I'm like, right, you know, I'm just going to have to go and do that. So I took 2 pieces of action. I closed it off, and I took action on the lead. But just because I didn't know, and to me, I just need to go, okay, right, I know that there's somebody working this hour. If that's come in, I know that Doris is going to look after it. I know that Linda's going to look after it.
Because we're a small team, I think at this stage, just let us know as much as possible. If you're feeling sick, say, look, I just can't work. I'm feeling sick. You don't have to feel guilty or anything about it. Just let us know. And Linda, you can say, oh, the best guess is that there's going to be I'm going to be pretty busy this week. I might get to a few a day, or this week it looks like it's going to be free. And we realized that you guys, well, Linda especially, you have non-fixed hours. But yeah, we don't want to get in the situation where 3 or 4 days go past and then we phone up and they say, oh, well, actually, yeah, I meant to call you 3 days ago. Couldn't do it or something like that. So, as long as
what I'm trying to do is kind of sum a little every day.
Yeah.
I'm trying to kind of, that fits in better around my day job.
Yeah.
So in that case, maybe what you do is that text message says that. If you're gonna, I would, if you see it come in, please jump on the phone. But if you jump on the phone and don't get hold of them, that's when your text message might come in, and that text message then might go, okay, so I'm going to call you, but just give them a couple of options. I'm going to call you Tuesday morning or Tuesday afternoon. Which one works better?
Okay.
You don't have to give them a time.
I'll try
just
that.
Give them that option.
Yep. Absolutely. And it's useful for me to get this guidance, if you like, because I suppose I was in a sales background many moons ago when I worked in the travel industry, but people were literally walking through the door and coming to me, and it was face to face, and I think that was quite a different kind of scenario. So, and I don't know if you know my background, but I've come into this having done the course myself. I've gone through the meditation leader program myself, so that's kind of how I've come into this. So I think my background is very different. I don't know Doris's. Hello, Doris. But my background is incredibly different to Paul's. So I'm happy to take all the guidance you can give me.
Absolutely. Well, like I say, I'm here to help you as much as I can, everybody, to make sure we're successful.
Yeah, thanks.
All right, so just to summarize, we're going to basically try to get, we're going to try to keep in communication more. You tell us, when you're working and when you're not working. We'll try to catch up with you once a week. If not in this group forum on a Tuesday evening, then with Andy one-on-one. Let us know what you need. And then we'll be filling out a spreadsheet, which will give us an idea of how many calls that you're doing and how many warm leads you're doing. And then, by the way, we're going to be tracking the actual time when they first come into the funnel and when they sign up, so we can get an average date of how long people come through.
Sorry, Peter, can I ask one question? You might have discussed this earlier and I missed it. So do we have an ideal timeline? So for example, if I assign something to me this morning and then I give them a call. So for example, if I check in the morning and it says, what time you can contact them in the afternoon. So I then wait for the afternoon, give them a call. Yeah. And then what's the sort of timeline from there that we're looking at?
Well, did you? I think Pete emailed earlier the client flow, which
I haven't checked my emails. So,
can I just share my screen quickly? I know I can't because I'm not the host.
Oh, I can maybe
flick that over to me. So look, although we say as quickly as possible, the ideal time is within the first 2 hours, if it's possible.
Okay. Yeah.
I'll just share this with you Oops, there we go. So can you all see my screen?
Ah, that's great. No, that's
Yes.
just what I need. Yeah,
Ah, there you go.
that's
so,
perfect. Yeah.
so
that's
basically,
perfect.
I put that together today, and if you look there, it's actually got what I would put in a text message or an email as well. You know, we've got three real way we can contact people: by phone call, by text, and by email. We've got to use all three the best we can.
Yeah.
This is what happens. This is what happens if they do this. And again, it's a framework, and we will say, you know, if you've contacted someone and you know, what I would like to see is, and I think you're pretty good at this, Linda, actually, is putting the forward date once you've done something in Asana. So putting it through that to that next, not to the, okay, well, I'm going to take 8 days to get to close lead on deal. I'd like to hit the 2 days. This is going to be 2 days. That's my next thing I've got to do, and then 2 days again.
Yeah, no, that really helps. Okay, and that's been emailed.
Yep.
Yep. I will check my emails. And then and the only other quick question I had was about the script. You were sorting out scripts for warm and cold lead.
I'm still working on the cold. There's 2 I'm working on at the moment. One's a cold lead script, and one is the setting appointment script.
Okay.
So I am working on them, but I've had other priorities and other fires that we've been putting out as well. So it's just, like I said, I really want to keep away from doing the phone calls unless it's a manager, you know, I say manager, you know, as in a customer care phone call. I want to keep away from doing that, but I want to know that that's happening in the background, and I can just come and give advice, and then I can strategize and get these other stuff done as well.
Okay, no, that's great. But no, that would be really useful, the client flow. That's good.
Great.
I'll take a look later.
And I did notice, can I just ask Doris, I did notice that you said you used my script.
Yes, I did.
How did you find that?
It was really good. It was smooth. I mean, I read it twice before I got on call, so it was quite smooth. And she was actually very excited to buy, but for some reason now she's, not answering my calls. But the call went well, I think, overall.
Well, the one thing I would say
was good.
Excellent. So the one thing I would say, and I mentioned this to Pete, is that she now said you said she was ghosting you. Is that means to me that the script worked. The script got her to a point where she wanted to buy, or she had no excuse not to buy.
Yeah.
So it worked until that point, but unfortunately, that's where she give you the answer that you want. Oh, I'll definitely call you tomorrow. I'll definitely be giving you this. Yeah. Because she couldn't say anything else, but then when she got off, she went, "This is what I'm saying. We're buying emotionally." You know, she got off and went, "Oh, I don't get on a phone call with her again." You know, do you know what I mean?
On the phone. She had so honored.
I have no doubt.
Yeah. She cried. She never picked up the phone.
Right. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing if I'm making people cry. But it does say to me that that's worth. We funneled somebody in the system and got all the objections out and handled all the objections, and she had no other option but to say yes to you.
Mm-hmm,
but then when she got off the phone, it was like, "Yeah, you've done your job really well," and she just she's having to ignore you now.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So, was there anything else from anybody? Did we cover everything, Pete?
Yeah, we did cover everything. I was just trying to summarize everything.
Yeah. Sorry. Go on.
Yeah. So we do the data collecting. And Andy is, as you can see, he's taking more and more of a leading role, which is great because, again, this isn't actually my forte either, Linda. I'm a bit like you. Andy will obviously be contacting you separately, and he's your first port of call, I guess, if you've got either a question on how to do it better, or, as I say, if you want him if you think he can help you somehow, even with a call, to close that lead, and you'll still get the whole commission. The point is just use Andy as much as you want, and he will be reaching out to you, and will be you know, also trying to help make you get more accountable and all of that. So with one-on-ones, yeah, the lead pool, we never really so what I will do, yeah, I better tell you this, Linda, because I'm not sure if you were part of that conversation. I can actually send out an email to your inbox whenever a lead comes in. So you could potentially see a lead come in and call them within 5 minutes. But it will mean that there's going to be a lot of emails coming in. So first of all, I want to get you okay with that, at least to try it for a couple of weeks. And second, I suggest that in your inbox, you create a separate folder for these type of emails and write a rule so that all of these emails go to one folder, so they're not clogging up the rest of your thing, because you might be getting 10 or so a day. So you want to put them into a separate folder. So if that's okay with you, Linda and Doris, I can, yeah, assign these, assign an email. I have to think how I do this. Yeah, I can do it on Zap. To come to you whenever, and that's across the globe. So there'll be a whole lot of emails which you'll just ignore because they'll be from the other side of the planet. But when you're online, you can keep that open, and when you see a new email pop in, you'll go, hey, someone just inquired, I'll give them a ring.
Okay.
So we'll try that out and see. We just have to double check there's not double calling. So for example, Linda and Paul.
Yeah, that's the only thing, isn't it?
Yeah. So, and that's where I kind of wanted your timetable, so that
Yeah.
I can say, right, at this time Linda's doing it, and at that time Paul's doing it.
Yeah.
Well,
see, that's the problem with my job.
what we could also do is, as soon as I'm taking a lead from the lead pool, like say I get a meeting,
Yeah, you read my mind. Well, I read yours. I just thought of the answer. Like when you take the lead, you go into Asana and you assign it to yourself. That's the answer we're looking for. Perfect.
Okay.
Yeah, you're not going to be calling them from the email. You're not going to see an email come through and call them from that. You're going to actually go into Asana, assign it to yourself, and then do that. And then you're in control of that lead, and nobody else should be calling.
Yeah.
So as long as nobody calls from emails, don't get me email, see the mobile number and give them a call. Everything should work hunky-dory.
Go into Asana. Okay. And when are we having our next catch-up meeting like this? Do we have a date?
Well, I think just for the short time, if you're all open to it, I'd like to see this weekly, just for the short time till we get up and running properly, and then we can again go back to maybe do that for a couple of weeks, then go back to bi-weekly, and then potentially this might only I think this will happen potentially once a month altogether, and then we'll just have the weekly one-on-one catch-ups. So we'll do, maybe if we all do next week and nail down some of these points that we've sort of discussed about, see how things are looking and how it's working for everybody. And then when all these changes have sort of settled in and settled down, we can then work on more on the one-on-ones with you guys, if that works. So Doris, are you?
Yeah, sorry. Just a suggestion, if you're going to do this weekly, maybe we could keep it a little short so that we can accommodate this on an every week basis. Maybe we can keep the meeting to an hour or 45 minutes.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. We shouldn't need to, today's been a very, we're sort of discussing new concepts, but I'd like to see, it shouldn't be long. And you're doing a one-on-one with me as well. If you're open to do that, then that'll only be a short 15-minute quick chat just to see how things are going and what you want to achieve for that week. So we're not here to try and take up an hour and a half of your time every week and everything like that. But it's important that we do get some of these nailed down for everybody's benefit.
Yeah, 100%.
But I'm scheduling that now for the 7th of July. No, sorry, the
30th of June.
30th of June.
Right.
30th of June, same time. And what was I just going to say? I had something I wanted to say. Oh yeah, I sent a note on the conversation on Asana. So I don't know if anyone's logged into Asana, but you should have got a note of that conversation that I thought was going to all of you, but I can see now it didn't.
Right, fair enough. It might be worth doing a Luma because it's not the easiest thing to find in Asana, isn't this conversation?
Actually, did you find a way to like, because on my other Asana account, I can like star something as a favorite, but I can't find a way to do it on this one so I can save this conversation and find it easily unless someone comments on it. You know what I mean? Like at the moment, if I want to find this conversation, I have to scroll through my notifications.
Yeah, well, there is a tab called Conversations, but you have to know how to sort of click onto it.
Okay.
I'll do a Loom video and show you, and we'll test it out. And if not, we'll take up Doris's idea and use something like Slack. But if we can do it in one platform, it would be better. We've got so many platforms, I really don't want to add more if I can help it.
Sure.
All right. We'll leave it there, and we'll see you in a week. Thank you very much. And
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you so much. Bye, guys.
Stay
Take
well.
care.
Yes.
You too. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
I've got to end it, haven't I? All right. All right. See you, everyone.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.